Again, not very full. And that shouldn't... We got, what, 12,000, a little over 12,000 litres, about 12,500. So that's good for 25,000, and I don't think that we didn't drop 5,000 in there. So, not a problem. Anyway, we complete this loop. So I'm going to have to unload again on the far side. And then we'll have to unload again before I do a cut through. Or cut in. And we can get the baler following me at that point. So I think there is somewhat of a bug on the yield informations tab. You've got yellow in the middle of the green patch of ground. You've got a long strip of green there, which I believe is in ground that isn't particularly good for yield. Dirt in these fields that isn't amazing. Okay, I think I'm going to do a reverse back here to get us better lined up for that turn. Alrighty. So we are coming on for halfway. We'll probably end up getting most of the way complete, probably about 2/3 of the way around the field before we need to unload. But after that I will be doing most of the harvest, but I can't, I do have the leisure of letting a worker do it while I run down to the yard and back. Sunflowers and corn will take a lot more carting, and they're a lot further away. Can't even see where they are. I think the green fields directly in front of us now. That's where our corn and our sunflowers are currently growing. So we'll have to, that's a fair trek back to the yard, although I tend to run by the sawmill. Because that's slightly shallower climb, or a shorter climb up to the yard, so we don't lose quite so much in the way of hauling. Check the cultivator, I suppose. I'm not going to bother now, but it occurs to me that maybe the cultivator can be hauled by our case tractor, which is top end of 200 horsepower. It's fairly capable. It struggles with the baler, which is why I put the class on the baler. And it can struggle with a grain cart. But even the Challenger struggles with the grain cart. So it's not overly surprising. And yes, why don't I get a smaller grain cart? Well, because our harvester is now that much bigger. Okay, I was going to look at garage. Our case has 260 horsepower, And our cultivator requires so much equipment. So much equipment, good grief. Okay, I missed it. That's our plough, that's our small plough. What? No, I've got to have a cultivator somewhere. Oh, that one. Needs 360, so yeah. Even on a good day, flat ground with a trailing wind, the case is not going to have a good time trying to haul the cultivator. So we'll turn that on, ready to go. We'll complete the lap and then do another unload, and then we will cut across the field, possibly from the entrance to over here somewhere on a 0 degree heading. And this harvester, so far we have not had a problem with the harvester getting stuck on the ground, which our previous one, I would have to raise the header, start it moving and then lower it. Although that's also a problem I have with our Vicon mowers on the Challenger. It will get itself stuck in the stuck when I try and move off. Wend our way around the meandering edge of this field. Okay. So I am liking this harvester so far. Let's get that started. They're not. Giants wouldn't let anybody do 3D tracks because that was that technology was introduced with the Class DLC. From Farm Sim 22, everything can have 3D tracks if the modder so chooses to do it. I haven't had a Terra track or whatever it is. Tracked harvester. I haven't driven any tracked vehicles on any of my farms on these Saturday series. Except maybe in Farm Sim 17 when we were contracting and driving a 4-track, quad-track, big case thing. So yeah, because I'm streaming today, there will not be a stream on Monday. I do plan to stream tomorrow and the normal Saturday stream. It has crossed my mind to do a New Year's Eve stream, although that's less than likely. This will not top off the trailer. Carefully distract. We've got a lot of weight in the middle there. I should probably put a bit more over the axles since that's what's actually supporting most of the weight. As I said, this should empty up the harvester, so we'll be able to cut through and probably come most of the way back. Even from here, which I think is the longest part of the field. But I won't be able to empty it once I've done that. Alrighty, let's get this thing started. I need to line this up. Oops. Let's try going forwards on a 0 axis. 0 is actually quite a way over. There we go. That's almost close enough. Back. There we go. Okay, that's good. Let's go get out baling thing. That is unfolded. I want to lower the front, turn it on. And we're close to a full bale already. So, are we ready? We are set at the right angle. So let's go with this. And here comes the baler. Hopefully it's lined up. On the, yeah, that's good. And we're picking up the straw. So yay for that. Let's cruise control on. So with about 30% more working width, but we've got a good 50% larger tank. I'm thinking we can cover more ground between empty. So there's less risk of getting halfway through a field like this. So that is half a tank. So we're not going to make it all the way back, but I think the width of the cut is now sufficient that the Challenger will not have problems dodging bales and trying to make its way to the harvester. Alrighty, let's cut this about. And of course, with a wider working width, even with a bigger harvester, making a 180-degree turn is much easier within the 2 headland area I've given myself. I could have gone 3. Some people do 3. But I think we're okay with 2. Obviously, doing things like sugar beets and potatoes, I tend to do about 4. Because of the working width versus the size of the piece of equipment I'm driving. We're very close to full here again. Keep going. There we go. This can manage a turnaround within 2 headlands. So should be able to pull a U-turn behind the baler to get out of here. So we'll empty this off. I will probably... problem is I don't think I can run a worker to the end of the field and then he'll just carry on doing that side. So when he gets full, the pipe will be on the wrong side. It's probably not worth. Doing what I'm thinking. I'll top this off. Back in the harvester, we'll complete this row and I'll make a judgment call on how full it is as to whether I let it loose on a worker or not. But this is quite a high yield crop, so 5,000 almost. Maybe I can. I'll set it off on a worker. We'll bring the Challenger off to the farm, but I'm guessing this is going to fill before we can get back. Another reason why having multiple carts is sometimes a good plan. And obviously the further away you are from the yard, yeah, look, we're already 7,000 litres. Nearly, it will probably be about 8 by the time I turn round. Don't think I'm going to make it in 4,000 litres to the yard and back. But anyway, we're progressing fairly well, I guess. As I said, about 5 hours before the rain happens. What is kind of looks a little murky over there, but I'm not sure how much of that is particle effect from the harvester as well. Okay, we are almost full. And this side of the field we get the better yield anyway. So it's going to fill that little bit quicker. And we are done. Oops, wrong way. This was a bad idea. This was a really, really bad idea. Yep. However, it does make the 180 a less risky proposition. Alrighty. So once again, back to the yard. We'll tip this, empty the harvester, and continue with the harvest. Probably shouldn't have cut through where I did. The issue we have now is both sides of the field are about halfway each. So that that space in the middle is going to get further apart, which kind of negates the whole point in doing the cut through. Empty. So obviously, if you start at the edge of the field, you're going to have alternate rows. The pipe is on the wrong side to unload. If you do what I've done there, where you cut through, and then you make sure that the gap is where the pipe's sitting, that works better. But they get further apart, so you wanna try and make sure that your cut through or cut in is closer to one edge, so you can just do a couple, 3-4 loops, and then make another cut in further over with enough room to do 3-4 loops again. Because also doing it this way means you're not, shuttling backwards and forwards to make a turn at the end of the field each time. You're able to just pull a turn and just keep rolling. But if the gap gets too wide, then obviously you spend more of your time driving between the edges at the ends. Alright. Actually, for its size, this setup doesn't have a horrible turn radius. So I think maybe what we might do here, we might just concentrate on this side. So we'll do rings rather than alternate on this side. Once we've finished this side of the field, I can perform another cut in over there. So that's the plan. Is the engine on? Yes, it is now. And of course the width here is a little over 2 headers wide. So cutting back on ourselves, we're going to end up with two smaller plots of crop that need to be dealt with. What are we doing here? It's got a very, very slow unload. So yeah, the other options I had for harvesters was going with something like this, which comparatively it's 50,000 more with an 11,000 litre tank. This has 12.5, so bigger tank, and the header on this is 26 feet, same as this one almost. I was looking down here, this isn't significantly large enough. This one again, you're 10,000 litres, that's only 15,000 litres more than we had. And this is 100,000 more, bigger tank, nice. But I think also FS19. So that's for the FS19. It's a 13 metre header, and we're currently running 10. This one was only 7. So yeah, it's that one was bigger, but when you add in the header is, like I said, 90,000, and then the harvester's over 100,000. I don't think I could afford that big of a harvester. So this particular harvester has given a very nice working width boost and 50% more in the realm of tank capacity, and something that we could afford. So I think that of all the harvesters there, this was the better choice. And while I would have liked to have taken the Tucano, it was just, it's that much more expensive and almost negligible bonus in working with. And with the length of some of our fields, part of the problem is getting the grain cart up to the harvester when you can't do all the way through, especially when you're dropping bales as you go. It just doesn't work out well. So yeah, like I said, we'll run down here. Probably, I'm gonna guess we're probably gonna be close enough to just do this bottom end here that we're heading for, then come back and finish off this bit up here. And I want to perform the cut in going south anyway. So that'll be the plan. Should have this done by midday though, which will be good, and then we'll run the harvesting kit over to the canola field and start on that one as best we can. Canola field's going to be a little bit easier because it is open to the road. So there's no hedges that we have to try and manoeuvre through. I'll lift that up actually. You know what? I'm going to do this. That'll put it's probably a bad idea, but it will put the baler over a straw swath, so I don't have to come back and do at least that length later. But it has dropped a bale, so not entirely ideal. So probably going to have to empty this again when it comes time to turn around. I'm fairly pleased with the amount of crop we have here. We're looking good for about £1 million at the end of harvest, if I remember to sell everything, which I didn't last time. Which is why it's going to be so big this year. Oh, and the trash truck's here. Yay. Okay, this is not